Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. Welcome out for a wonderful show that's for you and about you. Those of you that work so hard for your money, you want your money to start working harder for you now. You want that freedom, cash flow, and prosperity today, not 30 or 40 years from now, but right now, to live that life that you love with those you love, doing what you love. But most importantly, it's about living a life of purpose and meaning and creating a ripple effect to the lives of others. Because as you become liberated and free yourself, you can help others do the same and you can make a bigger impact in this world. Guys, thank you for allowing me to create the impact in your lives. Thank you for being such a great listener bunch, great audience, whatever you want to call it. But thank you so much for tuning in and for being a big part of this movement, because I cannot create ripple effect without you. And that's actually the topic of the show today. Quick reminder, feel free to check out our website, moneyripples.com. Check out the blogs, the podcasts, the things that are all in there as well. And hey, download our ebook, Beyond Rice and Beans, today. So check it out. So guys, I want to talk about this ripple effect more often on the show for sure, but I don't always share the vision that I have, like why I do what I do. Why am I here? What is my purpose for you guys? Because obviously I'm here to give. This is the whole reason I created this podcast. Initially, if you didn't know this, I created the podcast as a way to do two things. One is, if I ever died young, then I have something that's evergreen, right? Or not evergreen, but something that can be carried on as a legacy for my children to learn from me. But two, it was also a great thing for my clients, because they would have these frequently asked questions. I would say, here, rather than me explaining this for the next 10 or 20 minutes, listen to this show, listen to this recording. And that's why I did this. But because of you guys, it got so much bigger, because organically, even though I wasn't really pushing it to be a huge thing, you guys made it special. You guys are seriously some of the coolest listeners out there. And the fact is, I love when you guys reach out and I hear what you're able to create. Just today, give you an example. This is what fires me up and keeps me going. Because guys, I don't need to do this. I don't have to do this thing. We can do just fine doing our little thing and just be happy, just do our little thing and keep things super small and focused, and voila, we're financially independent. But I keep going because I realize that this is a gift, like a God-given gift, that what I have here is an opportunity to teach. I've been given these experiences, both good and bad. I've been over $1 million in debt and I've come back. I mean, heck, I've been able to become financially independent twice. It wasn't just once on accident, which the first time wasn't great. It wasn't a great way of hitting it. But that second time made it more meaningful. And I want you guys to have that too. And so my vision is, by 2030, my question to you is, will you be one of the 1,000 people that become financially independent? Will you be financially free within the next 8 to 9 years? That is what's driving me, right? That's what's keeping me going. That's regardless of being financially independent myself, I want to be able to create that ripple effect through your lives. I'll give you an example. I had a guy just reach out here recently. He actually is a life insurance client of mine, and I said, hey, Chris, yes, I'm making fun of you because you said on a previous show that you're bad at promoting other stuff. Hey, I want to know about your consulting services, right? So we started talking. I said, well, give me more detail about your situation, because I didn't know all the aspects of his finances when we did the life insurance policy. Well, as we started to get into it, I said, here's the thing. I can see it right now, conservatively, based on where your net worth is and what we can do with it. And he's trying to retire. He wants to have a $30,000 a month passive income goal in 6 years. I thought, that's pretty aggressive. But looking at it, I said, well, within the next year, we could probably easily hit at least 150,000 of passive income or growth of your money within this next 12 months. And that was really exciting to me. For one, I was like, wow, that's even cooler than I expected. But even cooler is that when we started to project it out, it's like, well, definitely in 6 years, we could hit that 30,000 a month, assuming, that we hit pretty, what I would call conservative returns. Like if we can hit double digit 10% a year, we could actually hit that goal. He's at 3,000 a month right now and wants to get to 30,000. And I said, well, hey, we can get to probably 180,000 by the end of this year. That's over, that is halfway there. So anyways, my point is this, is that, that's the kind of thing that fires me up. That's what keeps him going. I want him to be one of those 1,000 people. There's people on my team. My team is growing too. I have people on my team that I want them to be financially independent as well, especially if they're consulting you guys, because you want them to not feel the pressure of having to make money, right? You want them to already be in the trenches, already doing it. Cool thing is I have guys that are already creating their own cash flow and on their way to financial independence right now. They're already living what we preach. And that's just part of it. But I know that's the minor part of the 1,000. The majority are going to be you guys. Now, it doesn't matter if you work with us or not. The key is that the reason I'm doing this show is to create that ripple effect through your life and the lives of those around you. Because if we can bless their lives too, your whole community is blessed and influenced. And that's what we're going for. That's the thing we're excited. I know 1,000, it seems like a small number, but at the same time, it's actually a stretch for kind of things that we do. And so, because some people will do it within a few years and others might take 10 to 15 years to hit that number. So I know there will be a lot more of you on track or on the path there, but you may not be there by 2030. But I'm calling those of you out that if you want to be there within the next 8 or 9 years, now's the time. There's no better time than right now. Let me give you a little backstory about what I've seen being the traditional financial advisor, because you guys know it's no secret. I'm not a fan of mutual funds. I think that the stock market is high risk with mediocre returns, especially when the stock market has only averaged about 8.3% in the last 30 years to date. The real yield, the real rate of return of the S&P 500 has only been just over 8%. That's not fantastic, guys, especially if we want to create freedom, and especially when really, to become quote unquote FIRE, financially independent, retire early, right? To actually really be out of the rat race using mutual funds as a strategy, you got to have a lot more than that. You got to have at least 35 times the number of what you need per year. I'm saying that's conservative if you want your money to not outlast you, or really you want your money to outlast you. You don't want to outlive your money. So 35 times. If you want 100,000 a year lifestyle, you got to have about 3.5 million in today's dollars. And if we start having hyperinflation or even just inflation, which we always have anyways, guys, this is going to really hurt your progress. And so as a financial advisor, I knew this. Like I started to see these numbers and thinking, man, it's kind of depressing because it's really hard, if not almost impossible, for people to get a real comfortable way of life just doing the normal mutual funds, right? Because think about it, even to get the 3.5 million today, if you want 100,000 a year lifestyle, that's tough. Now you might say, okay, I'll back off. Okay, well, say it's 60,000 a year. Well, that's still 60%. 35 times that is probably about $2 million. So you need 2 million. Do you know what it takes to save up to 2 million? Especially if you're only earning a net of say 8% a year. Do the math. Find a compound interest calculator on calculator.net or something like that and map it out and see what happens based on your number of years. Make sure you put inflation rate. I would put inflation rate of 4%. And that's, guys, that's probably low to what we're seeing, what we're going to be seeing here. I'm just saying 4%. You put in 4% inflation, put in 8% return on your money in the market, if you're lucky, and watch what happens. To hit even just $2 million, to have this $6 million a year lifestyle, it's not fantastic, guys. It's not. So imagine my elation, right? Imagine my just excitement. And by the way, I'm not a really excitable guy. On this show, I actually kind of amp up my voice just for you, but I'm actually kind of a really kind of even keel kind of guy. You can imagine how excited I got when I was about to quit as a financial advisor in 2006. And I started to realize that it's all about cash flow. The people don't invest just for retirement accounts. They invest for what kind of income is it going to produce in retirement. And what many people don't realize, just like I explained, is it doesn't produce great income streams, especially if you want that money to last. But imagine this. Imagine you have that same $2 million you happen to save up. That $2 million, if you only made 10%, is $200,000 a year. Not $60,000, but $200,000. It's more than a 3 times benefit. And really, if you factor in a lot of these other things, it's a lot more. Now, if you wanted that same $60,000 a year lifestyle, you don't need $2 million. You need $600,000. What's more doable? Trying to save up to $2 million or $600,000? It's way easier to hit $600,000. Some of you are like, I got that right now. Yes, you do. Just like the guy I was talking to, like when we looked at the money, we said, hey, we got about 1.7 million of liquid assets, or somewhat liquid. Some of them are trapped in IRAs, and we either will find a way to get them out or find a way to leverage and use that and invest that money while it's in there. But I said, hey, at 1.7 million, even if we only made 10%, that's 170,000 a year. Notice I said 150,000 to him because I wanted to go conservative. I was going less than 9% return because the truth is there's so many investments, alternative investments out there that pay at least 8, 10+% per year. We're advertising funds on this show that are paying 10 or 11% a year. So that's pretty cool. So anyways, but again, it's about that cash flow. If you have that income coming in, it's amazing. Guys, when I realized this, remember as a financial advisor, I was getting discouraged because I realized I either had to tell people to lower their expectations or I had to lie about numbers. And the latter was not a good option. Guys, I do not want to be the person that goes out and says, oh yeah, you can make it, and then not. I never want to overpromise anything. But man, was I having to that I feel pressure to overpromise as a financial advisor talking about mutual funds. But imagine my surprise and my excitement when I could say, hey, what if you made 10% on this money? Hey, look, you've got equity in your house. You got $300,000 equity in your house. What if you could turn that into $30,000 of equity a year or of income a year? That's $2,500 a month. Oh, what? Hey, that would more than pay your mortgage payment? Awesome. That's great. Now your mortgage payment's covered versus you relying only on that job or that business to take care of everything for you. Now you have multiple streams of income. Guys, that opened up my world. And I hope it has for you too. And I know many of you already know this stuff. I'm telling you the why behind this because that is why I keep going. That is why I don't just retire. This is why maybe I am part-time, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to stop. Keep teaching. I'm going to keep giving you guys as much as we can here because the truth is that there is so much hope. And guess what? This is a side note. Because of the fact that we are growing and trying to create that impact, I'm actually hiring a new CMO, a chief marketing officer, somebody that actually kind of help with the back end of things, ensuring that we get that message out there to create that ripple effect. Now, I know that I've already got a company doing all the interviews and stuff for me right now, looking for those people. I have this feeling that among you guys, I don't know who, but I know among this group of ripplers, there's probably somebody who's here to create a ripple effect. And so if you got some experience, especially with marketing, technology, which is not my strong suit, just so you know, if you've got some experience with managing teams, things like that, and really like doing reports and numbers, things of that nature, and you're a driven person, like you're driven, you're kind of independent a little bit, like you don't have to be babysat a lot, and you really like the culture of really just a culture of excellence, right? Always trying to improve and be better. You have this culture of really just of integrity and you're service oriented, like you care about people. Guys, I'm going to put a link in the show notes, or I'll have my team put the link in the show notes. Put it in there. If that's you, if you have that kind of experience, especially if you've been in the financial field, even better. That's a bonus. But if you've had those kind of experiences and you're looking for some really good compensation and growth potential, we're hiring. We're hiring for that chief marketing officer right now. So this is probably the only episode I'm going to mention it because by the time we get to the other episodes, it'll probably be off the market. But if you are that person, or if you know someone that fits that criteria, let us know because we are hiring. This is really going to be like my number 2 person, like someone to really kind of be my ivory to my ebony, if you would put it that way, right? If I'm the ebony, this person would be my ivory. So if you know that person, or if you are that person, I'm going to put the link in the show notes to go ahead and go through the application process, see if you're a good fit. Anyways, guys, bringing this point back to you because that's what this show is about you, about creating that cash flow, that freedom, that prosperity today, not waiting until 30 or 40 years, if you're lucky, right? It's about creating real, actual results now. And guys, you're not the first. There have been many, many, many before you, and there's going to be many, many, many after you. The question is, what are you going to do with your life now? Again, you got questions that way. If you want to say, hey, team, like I want to be one of those 1,000 people, shoot me an email. You can actually just do it through the website, through moneyripples.com. But either way, guys, if you're here just to learn, keep tuning in, keep listening. There's more to come. There's so much more to give you. And I will just tell you from my own experience that financial freedom and independence is so much easier than what it is in the mainstream media and the mainstream advice that's out there today. You guys are in the right place. I hope you make a wonderful and prosperous week. We'll see you later.
Visit us online at moneyripples.com.